Welcome back to Games Revealed. I'm James and also Brink, and we are one community. Today, we're not streaming. This is going to be a premiere video, meaning it's going to be a video where it's going to be like I'm streaming, but I won't be able to chat with you guys. This is a Let's Chat, but I will try to be in the comments. I will be away at a wedding when I normally stream on Wednesdays, and instead of just canceling it like I've done in the past, I want to keep up and try to be as consistent as possible, at least with streams or when I do that particular thing until I get back into the flow of everything. I want to make sure that I'm giving you the guys the content, and also I like hanging out with you guys. So if I'm in the comments, I should be in the comments. If I'm not, I will try to read your guys' comments on the video and maybe respond later. So with that, I'm going to welcome Wolf at the bare minimum. I'm sure Wolf will be here. I'd welcome more people in. I just don't want to miss someone and have it. I'd be sad to miss someone because there's a bunch of people that always show up. Okay, but thank you for showing up for all this. What we're going to do today is we're going to go through like we normally do, like just some news, address what's going on right now in both the gaming world, the Steam Deck world, whatever, and then we will mosey on over and talk about some Steam Deck accessories. I want to go look at the Steam Deck accessories on Etsy again because there's always weird stuff going on there, and so that's what we're going to do today. Okay, let's strap in and let's start looking at some of the news over the past week or two. Some of these articles are a little older, but they're still so weird and interesting. And this is definitely one of those. There are two crypto integrated handhelds that are aiming to make Web3 gaming happen, because if it doesn't work for the first time, try again. This is an article from PC Gamer, and I found this very interesting. It came out a week ago, and I actually, so I'm a developer, if you don't know. I'm a software engineer. I've worked on multiple different projects between real estate and crypto, along with games, and right now mine's a hybrid. Like, my full-time job is a hybrid between mobile apps and web applications while doing my video game. So this is always interesting. It's the blockchain. It's the whole, like, everything about these types of news articles are just always weird and always. The thing is, I think if it was pure Web3 gaming, like it says right here, has a place. I think crypto, the crypto trend, or blockchain trend, has a place in Web3 or in gaming, I should say. But the problem is that you got on one side companies that are just out to make money, and so that's why this will never work. In order for blockchain, for some of these systems to work, is companies can't jump onto it and just go in for the money. And I just don't think that, like, fully for the money, meaning there has to be transparency. It's like, okay, hey, we're all going to agree that there's this platform where you can exchange accessories, or have decals, or have, let's say, a user account that can be accessible between multiple games, and we can agree on this. But each company wants to own that. And part of me doesn't blame them, as I've created projects and whatnot. Like, it's easier to own the accounts and the system. Like, for the Deck Revealed project, it's easier for me to just control that than to have that be managed by a bunch of other third parties and stuff like that. Even with, like, the login as with Gmail, I can't remember if I allow that at this time. It's easier to rely on an external service, because if it goes down, then you're kind of screwed, right? So I don't think people give enough lenience to these companies for certain things, and I think, honestly, it's bad faith in the sense of both sides. Like, I think I don't know, consumers don't have to give more lenience to these developers. Some of them do it for the right reason. Others just have been proven to really screw us over. So I don't. The optimist in me wants to keep on, like, trusting. The pessimist in me, though, definitely is like, well, you've shown that your greed gets in the way more than anything. Like, you don't care about privacy as much. You don't care about a lot of stuff, and that's where crypto cryptography or blockchain technologies can really come into play, it can help bridge some of the privacy issues and all that. But if the company is just owning it and it's not going to be protected, then, or it's not going to be, let's say, a third party company that's more that isn't profit, like it's a nonprofit or something like that, and even nonprofits are subject to a lot of monetary issues in the sense of like greed. So it doesn't save them, but it definitely would be a good plus, let's say, if it was something like that. And in the blockchain world, there are companies that specialize in this, and I'm not going to go into it too much, but they specialize in essentially facilitating a good company culture or privacy, making it more, it's a collective, meaning their votes have to be done on a collective stage and all that. Like those type I could trust. There's still like some skepticism, and people, they hear cryptocurrency, they hear all this other stuff, and they automatically think scam, and that's not fully true. Like with anything, it's not black and white. It is it's a nice beige. Not everything that has come out of cryptocurrency, that has come out of blockchain technology, is bad. A lot of it's good. Blockchain technology is good, and it has a lot of good applications, and like NFTs are a really bad rap. Non-fungible tokens have a really bad rap, and rightfully so. Like there's like get rich quick schemes going on all over the place with that, right? But NFTs could be useful in the real estate world, in I think games, if we could actually come to a consensus of like, hey, we could share accessories, share assets and stuff like that across multiple games. That would be kind of cool. I like a collective. I do like collectivism to a point, and I do wish that this would breed out of it. Now my rant's over. If you're still here, I think there's good that can come from it, but my pessimistic side doesn't think it's ever going to come in the next decade. It's going to take decades before I think people are going to get further into this part of gaming again. And a lot of gamers are very skeptical of this, rightfully so, because if it's coming from the EA's, other places that are kind of just screwed us over, why would you want to trust them again with this technology, especially that's been used to scam in the past? So I get it. It's just interesting that there's two hardware pieces of hardware coming out. Let's kick it off with some terminology. Blockchain. Let's see. Yep, they're even talking about, provided your eyes haven't rolled so far back or into the back of your head, you're still able to read the rest of this article. I have some terrible news for you. 2 new handhelds are coming to the corner, aiming to corner. Sorry, handhelds are aiming to corner the market once more on blockchain-based gaming. Only this time it's mobile. First up is the Sui Play 0x1. I mean, you guys have got to do so much better with these names. The BitBoy sounds much better, but it definitely makes me think that this is first and foremost like potentially like a Chinese start of something like company, and that already raises red flags for me for some of these handhelds, because they're a dime a dozen at this point now. It has a handheld gaming device with native Web3 capabilities, which doesn't mean almost anything to me. Like, you don't need a dedicated device for Web3. It's not how Web3 works. It's not how all this stuff works. Unless they're doing type cryptography with special algorithms that need special hardware, which is not really a thing in the gaming world, or in a lot of the rest of the world. There's no point on having a dedicated crypto device. So it's already starting off on a rocky playing field. I worked at a company that was a platform for Web3 games, and they are fascinating, but the platform, the software is more important than the actual hardware. Like, you could make this run Windows, whatever you want. I don't get the point of having it a dedicated device for this. It's going to be what the bread and butter for this is going to be, if there is anything good, is going to come from the software. Yeah, what that means for potential buyers is handheld Web3 gaming, which in basic terms is essentially gaming connected to a blockchain or with some cryptocurrency integration. Your in-game assets can be tracked and transferred on a blockchain, and in this case, you can set up a crypto wallet tied to your handheld. And then believe it must be, I think that's like British or something like that. Don't at me on that. You can at me in the comments on that. Like, bully is such a weird term that I don't hear very often. But yeah, never mind. Let's get beyond the wording. It's pretty much what I just said. Like it's gonna be handling like your crypto wallet, which it's a software based wallet. A lot of those integrations are software based, and so I don't once again get why it would be hardware. But keep your fork, crypto fans, because there's more. Hot on the heels of the sneak preview event at Paris Blockchain Week on April 7th was the Twitter announcement of the BitBoy 1, a translucent orange Web3 gaming handheld via Tom's Hardware. Developed by Ords Games, it too makes a bold claim in this case that it's the world's first Web3 gaming device, and otherwise looks like a standard emulation handheld that once spent a frantic night with Terry's Chocolate Orange. Oh boy. Yeah, I don't. So here's the problem. This makes me feel retro when you have the opaque case. The red ring is kind of cool, but it gives me PTSD for the red ring of death from Xbox 360. So anytime I see a red ring anymore, I honestly think negative, very negative thoughts that, hey, my system's dying. So there's that. However, there's a party trick. Despite the relatively meager hardware inside, including the 4-year-old ARM SoC based Rock chip, 32 gigs of internal memory and 4 gigs of RAM, Ords claims that it's not only can you use it as a hardware crypto wallet, you can also earn tokens through the device by playing blockchain play to earn games. And as if that wasn't enough, crypto in your hand gaming experience. The creator of the mysteriously named Zeth says that you'll also be able to mine Bitcoin using the device very slowly. Yeah, I mean, it's cool and all. You're not going to get any meaningful. Like, the energy and everything that's going to come from this is not going to be worth it unless, which Bitcoin is going up. I think they had a split recently. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And making some real money might be a genuine concern, as the BitBoy 1 is expected to retail for approximately $500, which means that for a little bit more, you could buy a Steam Deck OLED. And you could mine Bitcoin on that too, I believe. Bitcoin is mined more from a CPU algorithm than a GPU, I believe, where Ethereum is a GPU algorithm more than a CPU, meaning you're going to get more out of whichever one you're mining off of. You can correct me wrong if I'm wrong in comments if you want. Last I checked, that's about what it was. I have done mining before in the past. As I find this all fascinating. I like technology, I like advancements and all that, but I will have to say right now, that $500 price point is very not appetizing. It screams something's up with this company, because there's no way that this device doesn't cost them like 20, 30 bucks. I want to know why it's costing 500. And I guarantee you, with all the R&D that's been going into these companies, most of that is R&D pushed to the consumer for the software and stuff that they've used, because I couldn't imagine much of this hardware is very custom, as we already have stuff that's just like this, with the exception of that red ring, which once again, you're paying a $400 premium price for that, for something that looks like it's a dying device from Xbox 360 is not a win for me. Yeah, and it's gonna go into like Web3 gaming at its core is pretty nebulous. It's just a lot of issues have come up from NFTs, everything. I honestly just don't think until we can get the greed out of it and get some of these concepts out of Web3 gaming, I don't think it's going to be trusted. Like I said, I like the concept of sharing assets, sharing profiles, sharing accounts, sharing whatever between multiple games. You own it, essentially, your wallet, meaning you own your information. That's the good part that people really forget about blockchain and all that, and cryptography and stuff. Like, you own your own information and should be able to share it how you want, as opposed to what it is right now, where a lot of things are very open. I'm not very much worried about my information kind of person, but Obviously, like where I live, credit cards, stuff like that. That's the stuff I'm worried about, obviously. But like my identity is pretty open out there, especially now that I've been doing YouTube for as long as I have been. But there's that bridge where when I play games, I do like some anonymity. I don't want to. Uh, Sometimes it's a little nerve wracking to go play a game and know that people know that I'm playing it in the community, like through, let's say, uh, Discord or something like that. So it's not like the biggest deal. It's just, yeah, sometimes it's nice to be anonymous. On the flip side, though, I would never pay for it like they do here. I want it to be in a collective and be able to share assets, meaning like, hey, look, like right here, Fallout. I have a Fallout game. I have a bunch of mods. There's a bunch of created assets for that. That with how we're going now with Unreal, with the Unity engine, with a lot of engines, they can. There's no reason why they couldn't share assets and share models in a lot of cases. It'd be really cool, and maybe I'm overthinking this. I like to think of, I don't over, I do overthink, but I like to think of these things on the fly too. But it would be cool to create mod assets that could be shared amongst multiple games. And so you're like, okay, yeah, I want this character to be used in this other game. And you could reference, and honestly, all as long as the mod has a reference or the blockchain knows where the reference for a character addition is, you should be able to at least share the model between it. So you don't have to download multiple times. You have it managed. Once again, I'm solutionizing, and this is something I'd want to put in my deck rebuild project, and that's why the deck rebuild project takes so long, is because I am in the middle of ripping out some stuff that I was making. Uh, Besides the point. Um, I at the end, I'm gonna finalize this whole crypto stuff and blockchain stuff. I think it has a place. I think it's gonna be interesting. I think until we get rid of some of the greed inside of the game industry, or there's a very meaningful project that comes to fruition that helps share stuff between these companies, I don't think crypto or blockchain is going to go very far in the gaming world. I think it eventually will. It just might take it could take up to a decade plus for some of the dust to settle from the whole just craziness that happened a couple years ago from the crypto and NFT debacles. Just so many people went to jail and so many companies failed and so much money was lost. I don't see it as a money thing though. It would be me for a wallet for my assets and for other things that I could utilize and have fun with in multiple games is kind of how I see it. So very, I think, reasonable, but a company is going to lose IP and identity with that. So it'd probably be more on the modding side of things now that we've talked about this. So thank you for joining my TED Talk on discovering new ways to utilize technologies while doing a stream or a video. I didn't have any of that planned for this video, but that's fun. Thanks for joining me on that. It was a fun ride. Now let's go on to the next article. Lenovo management confirms that a Legion Go 2 handheld will be released with even more features. And I was thinking about for this video to do a tier list, but honestly, I think we'll do a tier list for all our devices maybe some other time. And I don't know, people might be tired of tier lists. I like doing tier lists. I like seeing I like seeing other people's tier lists. Honestly, I'd like to see some of your guys' tier lists, viewers, because I think it's always fascinating to see what people rank top. But maybe we'll do like most wanted features ranked, or what they're like planning on doing, or maybe we can even do hardware accessories tier lists sometime in the future. But for now, you can probably expect Legion Go 2, and I've talked about this a little bit in the past, but you could probably expect it to not be too crazy when it comes to features, in the sense of they'll probably fix some of the hardware issues. I have a feeling that the Legion Go and the Ally, the ROG Ally, have two ways that they could go. I think the Legion Go needs to have a rehaul on its hardware shape, even though I think it's really, like, I think it's cool and all, but when I went and actually used it, it wasn't comfortable for me. I know other people found it very comfortable. I didn't find it very comfortable compared to my other devices. And the trackpad was more or less meaningless for me, unless it had two trackpads that supported SteamOS. If it has two trackpads, the potential of it supporting SteamOS goes up quite a bit, which would be awesome. but also the FPS mode, like setting it up, was just weird enough to where I didn't use it enough when I had my Legion Go. But that ultimately is not what drove me away, because maybe I would have gotten used to it. What drove me away is the software and some of the hardware. Just it did not work very well. The device did not function, and that could have been on the device I had. But at times it played games fine. That's the thing. That was weird. Some games played really poorly that played fine on the ROG Ally, and played poorly on this. And I do think it was had something to do with drivers and software. So until they have those resolved, I just can't recommend an ROG or a Legion Go at the moment. But I am interested. If they do come out with a second one, I could see them coming out with a second one by the end of this year. So I am curious to see what they do. ROG Ally is also one that I am curious if they'll come out like around it in the next few months, or maybe at the end of the year. I can't remember if AMD has anything in the pipeline, but usually about every year or two they have a refresh. So I think they're currently on the 8000 series, so we'd be seeing something from the 9000 series coming up in the next year. So there's a lot there to it. I honestly just I want them to see, and I think the hardware just needs to be improved a little bit more. It needs to be a little bit more comfortable. It needs to click in a little bit better. It was wiggly too. One of the sides is wiggly. There's ways to fix that, but I don't want to buy a $700 device and have to figure out a way to fix it. Now, if there's a failure rate of like 5-10% of that of the lock-in, that's fine. I'll go get it exchanged. But it seemed to happen to pretty much everyone eventually, or with most people. Some people may not notice it, but the wiggliness definitely caused some alarm for me, because the more like wiggle room there is, the more likely if you shake it, it will break off. If it's more flush, the more stability it has, the less likely it has room to swing and break. Was one of my concerns. People aren't doing it. I haven't seen anyone break it that way, but it is a concern for me. And it became more like when I first got it, it wasn't too loose, but then it became more wiggly as time went on. As far as the screen, I love the screen. I love the device, honestly. It was just the hardware, software. They needed the buttons need to be a little bigger. It needs to be more comfortable, and the software needs to work properly. Like they need something like the Armory. It was too slow, too sluggish. When I changed things on their quick access menu, it just didn't change things properly. So they don't need to do any major rehauls for this, but they could make it look sleeker. They could make it look a little better, feel a little better, and then just keep on working on those drivers and software. And I think whatever they do should backport to the original Legion Go. Meaning, if they come out with Legion Go 2, it should only improve the hardware. Like it should add better hardware, maybe improve the grips, but the software should still be the same. I say that as they should not drop support for Legion Go. If they drop support for Legion Go after a year, like major updates, then I would say don't trust Legion Go brand at all, and I wouldn't recommend one, period. And unless they for sure will support this multi-generational. These are console-like devices. They should be supported for at least 5 to 6 years, with at least appropriate updates to make sure that they're always playing stuff properly. That's my take on it. I love the screen size, I really do, but I am starting to edge towards getting an iPad and streaming games that way, for a bigger screen that supports stuff too. I don't know. It's all fun to speculate and talk about. So that's my takes on the Legion Go 2 coming out sometime, probably at the end of this year. Next up on the adventure of news in gaming, I just saw what Half-Life 2 should look like in 2024, and I've changed my mind about NVIDIA's RTX Remix tool. I have to agree. I really, if you know me, I'm a huge Half-Life fan, so seeing something like so drastically look better is pretty awesome. Okay. Well, let's look at this a little bit. Announced way back in September 2022 at NVIDIA's GTC showcase, RTX Remix is an AI-powered tool for remastering old 3D games with updated graphics and fancy modern features like ray tracing. Remix entered open beta earlier this year and is primarily targeted at modders looking to visually upgrade their favorite games. It's built on NVIDIA's AI-focused Omniverse platform, offering a comprehensive box of tricks for making the remaster process faster and easier than ever before. It's something that's probably going to be like they'll run Warcraft 3 through it, and you're just going to get a much better Warcraft than the Reforge that developers worked on, which is very sad. Uh, we don't need to go into that debacle of a game. Like the game itself, it was fine. The remaster was fine. There's aspects that were horrible, of course, of the remaster, but then the cutscenes didn't work properly, from my understanding, or they weren't remastered, and then the rollout and the price tag and just so much about that has got people like remasters are getting better clout these days, like with Dead Space 1 remaster, which was amazing. Like they did such a good job. A tool that could go through and improve textures and potentially sounds, and also, because I don't know if this improves textures, but I mean, if you look at Half-Life 2, those textures are upgraded. Like you look at this Portal, the Portal 2, or yeah, the Portal with RTX looks fine, but Portal already looked good. Half-Life 2 is a much better showcase for RTX Remix. But you can see like the textures must have already been, either they were the AI tool could have fixed it and made it more high def, so just make sure there's just a little bit more fidelity there. And then the lighting, I think people just forget how good lighting can actually make a world look realistic, with reflections, with the way the light bounces off the stuff, with immersion, no, like essentially just the way light will bleed through fabrics and other things is very important, and this is a big deal. I mean, even Portal this looks really good. Now, if we go and look at the side by side right here, you can see that this is the RTX and this is the non-RTX. There's some stuff going on with those textures. You can definitely tell. And I also wondering, because this is not released yet, if this is the AI tool completely, or if they're just remastering textures too. Because I think they're remastering textures, and I am a little skeptical to say this whole thing right here is AI. That's fine. This whole thing is AI generated right here. So yeah, I want to get this more over here. Sorry, there's just so many ads. Normally I have my comment section below my face. Okay. So it just looks so much better, and parts of the models are improved, and I don't know if that's AI or not. I'm very skeptical. One scene displayed during the demo saw me walking through the dimly lit courtyard, beset with corpses, including a dismembered pair of legs hanging from the tree. Despite the grisly setting, I couldn't help but be impressed. The legs swing from the rope and cast realistic dynamic shadows in remixed version, while the original features no shadows at all. It also, I wonder if they're nerfing some of because I swear the original did have a little bit of shadows. Like one of the things that Half-Life 2 brought was, like, for its time, its shadows, its lighting was really good. So, but so I'm wondering if they're nerfing it a little bit, but it definitely, like, in no way does the RTX not beat it in every way. Let's see. While the original features no shadows at all, it also highlighted the improved ground textures, and NVIDIA pointed out in a different scene that Remix's generative AI capabilities can be used to up-res textures and create PBR maps that ensure assets react properly to light sources. Although it's worth noting that in this instance, the 4K textures in Half-Life 2 RTX were handcrafted by modders working on the project. Yep, called it. Yeah, so I kind of figured that they could up-res. Like, we already have technologies to up-res and to fill in aspects that are kind of missing, to help with going to a 4K texture, which is a big deal. I don't think people understand, like, if they can do those texture fill-ins properly, like, that's a big deal. It's also not going to be perfect. So there's going to be, we're not at the point where you can say, hey, make my game better looking, and it's just going to look better at the end of the day. They're going to have to do some type of hand double checking and maybe even manipulation of the AI to make it look better. So yeah, this is fascinating. We can watch the video too right here. See the shadow?
We might need.
It's really cool. But you can also see like the textures. There's a lot that's a little deceiving. Like, don't get me wrong. I think the whole project's really cool. Uh, but what part is handcrafted? What part isn't? I'm assuming a lot of the lighting probably isn't, but everything else sounds like it's handcrafted. Um, like that right there, that looks pretty close to like. And we say this every time. Like when I looked at this when it first came out, I was like, wow, that's a realistic engine right there. Now I'm looking at this, I'm like, wow, that looks like honestly 1980s graphics in comparison. Like the jump is so crazy. But there's no way AI would have been able to generatively made this engine. Well, I mean, if you give it enough reference points, yeah. But this is probably a scanned in asset from an actual engine to a point, and then it's downgraded on its textures. Because, like in a game, you don't. We can get super realistic textures, but sometimes the lighting doesn't hit it right, and so it can be weird on how they scan it all in. Hello, Loki. Loki's here to bark at us. He's looking for scrunches. Okay, so Half-Life 2, the remix project is. I can't wait till when are they going to release this? I think it's going to be this year, if I'm not mistaken, though. Hopefully it's this year, and I get to play it because I am super excited to play Half-Life 2 improved. Okay, talking about like realistic graphics and all that. This person, Arun Bharathi, finally done with this scene. I really appreciate all the feedback I got. I will post the progress GIF in. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna post right here. This is the capabilities, and they can get even better, but this is just one person doing this, I believe. Got good smoke or steam coming from the vent or from the manhole. You got realistic shadowing going on here, and I bring this up partially because I'm very much interested in game development. I am building my own game, so I'll sneak those in every once in a while into the games revealed stuff. But you can definitely see like we are in a new era of just realism. Like there's games that look pretty close to this though too. It's crazy. It's just crazy what we're getting when it comes to realistic environments. You can see the reflections off of this walkway. I would say this is a little hyper graphicatized. I don't know. I'm the right word for this. Let me know in the comments. But it's I've never seen a city quite look like this, but we're getting there. We're getting there. I've just never walked across something that quite has this reflection. I know it's wet, but like it doesn't look wet enough to have such a sheen with all this debris and dirt. It will be a little dirtier than this, but it's pretty freaking awesome. You can just see all the realism that's coming from today and the Unreal Engine, right? It's not Unreal anymore; it's real. I mean, in the pursuit of realism, there has to be some. You got to be careful with it, because if you're too focused too much on like a realistic game, it kind of takes away the game aspect of it, makes it less fun for me. But if you can make certain aspects really just pop out, I was like, whoa, what is that? And then become unruly with like a horror, like let's say something pops out from this right here. That's where you wouldn't expect to see anything like that from the real world. But from a video game, a creature bursting through this window right here could be fascinating. So yeah, we'll stop talking. We'll move on to the Steam Deck leak kind of thing. So the new AMD CPU leak looks like a perfect fit for the Steam Deck 2. Upcoming APUs sporting Zen 4 cores and RDNA 3 plus graphics are claimed to be much faster than existing chips and look ideal for handhelds. It's given that and this is from PC Games N and Samuel Willits. will outperform its predecessor, but the gap between the two handhelds could be substantial, depending on Valve's choice of chip. With this in mind, new performance estimates for upcoming AMD processors sporting RDNA 3 Plus integrated graphics look like a perfect fit for a high-performance Steam Deck successor, as long as it doesn't have a hit to the battery, which is Valve's number one priority. Me, I do like the battery boost in the OLED. I will be honest. Like I will say that I'll take a little bit of an L on the Steam Deck not needing more battery life. I will say I still do want that performance. There's just some games like Dead Space just doesn't perform as much as well as I'd like it to on the Steam Deck. For now, the Steam Deck firmly holds the crown for best handheld PC gaming for very different reasons. It's easy to pick up. It's easy to play a lot of the games on it. You don't have to deal with Windows. Windows is really poorly optimized for mobile. ROG Ally has done a good job with Armory, of like you can boot into Armory, you can select your games from there and all that, but like, you know, there's issues. Despite competing devices offering higher levels of performance with more powerful AMD chips, however, Valve can't hold this position indefinitely, and I agree with that. Honestly, the biggest thing that they have right now is software. Once Windows releases something that's very similar to, let's say, SteamOS's game mode, then I think the crown will be taken away from Steam Deck per se. Even though I think it's going to be a hard crown to take because Steam Deck has already kind of solidified itself. Pretty much, if you look at someone that's not hyper focused on handheld gaming, they're probably and they want a handheld gaming device. It's either going to be an iPad, their phone, or Steam Deck. Then you get people that are a little bit more like conscious of it, and then you'll start to get into the battle of the ROG Ally versus the Legion Go. And then if you want to go even further, then there's the Ioneos and stuff like that, where I just support and everything else wise, I just don't know how they can compete in the future, at least in the Western world. The majority of handhelds, including the Steam Deck, pack AMD APUs, which are CPUs with performance-driven dedicated graphics, save for a few Mavericks like the MSI Claw, which is not doing well. Intel will probably still try to will try to release more. I'm sure like them, and it sounds like Nvidia wants to get into it, and Nvidia is $1 trillion company. Like Nvidia, I don't think people realized how big Nvidia got over the past few years. They're massive, and if they really wanted to swing some of their some of whatever they have girth their way over money girth to handhelds, which they want to do, we could start seeing more of a competitive field, and that's good. That's good. That's good for the consumer. That is. According to the leaker, Xeno Assassin, as reported by WCCCF Tech, the next batch of APUs from AMD will be comparable to some dedicated laptops GPUs, specifically the GeForce RTX 3050 and the Radeon RX 6400. This is based on the 3D Mark Time Spy results, where the flagship chip achieves a result of 4,000 in the benchmark, which is only 800 points behind the RTX 3050, which, to be fair, that's still a pretty big gap. 500 points ahead of the RX 6400. I bet you that's also taken into account battery. So if that's that type of bump up without any major hit to the battery, which people don't realize like you can do through both the shrinkage of the die of their like APUs and all that, which is probably what's happening. And so yeah, they're probably like, the architecture does matter for power consumption. I mean, look at the MacBooks, the new MacBooks, the M series, they're amazing chipsets, very power efficient. Honestly, that'd be really cool to see in the Steam Deck. But it can be done. So with better architecture development, with all this new tech coming out, I bet you we're going to get an announcement for a Steam Deck 2 this year, and I bet you we get a Steam Deck 2 next year. Probably either around this time or towards the end of next year. It's going to be sometime within the second quarter. The original one did come out in the first quarter, but I could see it coming out in the second quarter to third quarter of 2025 is my estimation for Steam Deck 2. I don't think it's going to come out this year, but they've surprised us before with the OLED. The OLED came out much sooner than I expected. And it was like the time frame between what we were kind of expecting a new Steam Deck or something else and when it released was just like a few months. And so we could get an announcement this summer saying, hey, Steam Deck 2 is going to come here. It's going to be here. I assume it's going to be next year, though. That's, I think, a safe bet. I don't think they're going to push it out into 2026. I think it's 2025 is the year of the Steam Deck 2, personally. And like this tech that we're talking about right here would line up with something along the lines of next year. Okay, as far as that, let's get into some Steam Deck accessories. We talked about some news that I thought was very exciting. Let's get into some accessories and kind of just see what is out there, which is, it's just always so weird to see what people have. And a lot of it's like 3D printed, or like this one right here. You have the Steam Deck 512 gigabyte SD card that also comes with 51,000 games. Like this is going to get, like, if this is interesting to you, be wary in buying this because it's most likely pirated games, and it's probably going to get taken down. I don't think, I don't think Nintendo's going to go after an individual at this point like this, but I don't know. I'm always hesitant with it. My personal preference is just play games legally as much as possible. Like you buy the game, play it on an emulator on your Steam Deck of a game you bought. There's more and more of these, like this is kind of a cool little wrapper kit that will most likely just go into the case itself. It's usually and it has a dock to it. So if you have a 3D printer, you can find these, or you can buy this one if you don't have one. The reason why I say that is that, yes, it unwraps, has the dock, or like the stand, I should say, not a dock, and then it can be plugged into into that little slot where the adapter usually goes. This is just a nice way to clean it up and do it. I have one similar to this. I like it. I don't use it very often, though. I don't like the included adapter that comes with the Steam Deck. I think it's just not a great adapter. I have a 100-watt adapter that I carry with me that has multiple ports that I can unplug and plug in. That's what I want. I want it to be modular. And so that's what I take with me. Like during my trip over the next few weeks, I am going to be carrying this slightly bigger than the Steam Deck adapter with 2 or 3 cords so I can charge all my devices at once. These stands are really awesome. I'm not going to lie. I still haven't got it yet. I do want to get this. I want to 3D print it, honestly. I have the stuff to 3D print. I don't think the 3D file is available, but I think for like a backdrop, this would be sick. I need to get one. Let me know in the comments if I should get this for a backdrop, or if you guys are interested in it. I could also do it as a giveaway. That'd be kind of fun too. What's up with the ammo crate? Does this do something? Is this Steam Deck related? This is not Steam Deck related. This is ammo related. Okay. You got locks. So if you're traveling, these are kind of nice. But honestly, instead of spending $11.99, spend a little bit more and get yourself the kill switch. Like my Steam Deck has the kill switch, and when you're traveling, when you're throwing it into box, whatever, it's if you're planning on your Steam Deck being a major part of your life, the kill switch is I know the price is like $80. I know it's pricey, but it's definitely worth it to keep your deck safe and protected. And I like TSA, easy. All I have to do is I have the cover on it right here. I throw that cover on, while I'm traveling, and then when I have to go through airport security, they're like, okay, all electronic devices. I throw that into the bucket. My Steam Deck, I can throw it and it doesn't have nothing comes of it. I don't throw it, but I set it down kind of. Along with my laptop, which I'm definitely always hesitant to do that with because I'm like, you better treat it well. And Steam Deck, I just never worry about my Steam Deck. There's no visual excuse me. There's no visual damage on my Steam Deck from TSA, from traveling and stuff like that. And the kill switch, probably the top of my list of recommended accessories, and then some type of dock. And I don't use docks very often because I'm usually just playing with my deck on the go. As far as anything else accessory wise, I know I talk about this all the time. I'm honestly like, some of these skins are really cool. We've seen them before. I'm not, I think we've kind of hit a fatigue on the whole thing. A phone holder, which I've talked about making for a long time. This is probably the ultimate device for me. I want does it I want one for, see, for the JSOX mod. I want one for the kill switch. The JSOX mod might mod case might actually be a nice secondary. I just, all those extra mods that come with it, I don't care about. I don't care about the exhaust. I don't care about anything else that comes with the JSOX stuff at this point. But this is very intriguing to me. This is very intriguing to me. I wonder if I can get like the 3D file for it. I've talked about wanting something like this for a very long time. Okay, that's probably my most anticipated, because what I do while I'm grinding, like, I don't know if you guys do this, but I will grind games, and I like to watch stuff. The various amounts of things that I can watch and play at the same time, and it kind of ticks the box off. It ticks the box. It checks that box off for no apparent reason except for I want to watch something and kind of get through it, and also play my games and get through it. Because don't get me wrong, like, I enjoy the game, but I don't enjoy every aspect of the game. There's a lot of grinding and stuff that has to go through some games. Like, I think a good example would be Hades. I like Hades a lot, but I've already played through it, and I'm playing through it again to get to the end. And parts of it is just grindy. I just want to sit there and mindlessly kill baddies, and watch something, or at least listen to /watch something. So, yeah. As far as these other skins, they look so cool, but skins, once you have a case on it, the skins kind of just get hidden. So I don't know if it's really worth it. As far as anything else, that's honestly it. I don't think I'm going to go through any more of these accessories. Nothing seems to pop out, but still some stuff's kind of cool. Like this right here is kind of cool. What's with the game cartridge? It sits on the back. What does it hold? I'm assuming it holds like, okay, that is pretty cool. So it's a carrying case for your Steam Deck. I'm assuming this probably carries SD cards and all. I'd still want it to be in the bag because I feel like it'd fall out easily, but the concept of carrying it like this is pretty interesting. It's cool. Practicality wise, I wouldn't probably recommend it, but I like the concept of this. So, okay. Wow. Okay. That's so cool. As far as this video, we are done. I normally stream for about an hour and a half. This is gonna be a little less because I'm not chatting with chat right now or arguing with anyone. With that, thank you guys for watching. Let me know in the comments below or in chat what I should talk about next. And honestly, yeah, I'll see you guys hopefully next week in a stream. But if not, it might be another one of these pre-recorded videos. Let me know how you liked it this way. I know it's a little slower. It's something you can watch while you do other things. But I'm always happy to hear feedback from you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Catch you guys next time. Peace out. Later.